He might be retired, but he's still not out. Join former Australian all-rounder Jason Dizzy Gillespie and Travis Wakeling for some unfiltered cricket chat, legendary stories, and a laugh or two along the way. Let's play. Jason Dizzy Gillespie, mate, what have we just witnessed? It is day 5 of the test match today, and we are here recording a podcast which is basically 3 days overdue because the test match finished on Saturday.
Well, it was bonkers, wasn't it, Trav? It was just, I mean, it was amazing to be there. I mean, it was 2 exciting, action-packed days, but you just feel a bit shortchanged. You know, it was, you just wanted to see more of it. And, you know, we witnessed some scintillating bowling. We witnessed some, at times, ordinary bowling, ordinary plans. We witnessed some, or in particular, scintillating innings. And we also witnessed some pretty indifferent batting as well from both sides.
Before we deep dive into the cricket, how's Perth going? You're still over there? So you're
still over there?
You've been doing your cashies?
I'd arranged to do a function, a luncheon, on which would be the day after the 5th day, so for tomorrow. So I've basically just waited here for until then. So just got a couple of runs in around the river, and it's been catch up with a few mates, and and it's been good. So I'll do that. I'll do that tomorrow. Then I'll jump on a kite and head back to the greatest city on earth.
You didn't get an invite to go down and play some golf with the English boys? They've been spotted out on the course?
I'm mate. I'm not much. You know, I'm not much of a golfer, and I save all my best work for Seacliff Golf Course. So
I think they call you the Seacliff specialist, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do for sure. We're due for a game, mate, and we're due to take our pod out onto the course and show everyone just how maybe how bad we are.
How terrible we are. I know. Well, at least it'll, like I said before, it'll become a comedic episode, that one, which is we discovered last episode that we're both really funny. So I think it's going to go down nicely, mate. So we'll talk a bit of cricket, and then we'll get into it. We're doing the Ask Dizzy episode of the Still Out podcast today, so that we've got heaps of questions coming through for you. Which I'm absolutely loving, getting them on all the channels, getting through Instagram, through the messages in the comments, on X, and it's all happening. The people love you. So, do you? I'm really interested looking forward. We know about that innings from Travis Head. Are you convinced? Essentially, 2 blokes' performance, Stark and Travis Head. Yeah. Have won us that game. Yeah, okay, we got another 4 wickets out of Boland in the second innings. He looked to tighten up. Doggett was really strong on debut. Weatherald looked a lot more settled in that second innings. But can you go in confidently with the same side to the second test, or are you looking at maybe some horses for courses changes?
I think, well, I mean, the selectors and Andrew McDonald have shown that horses for courses is their preferred selection policies, and we've seen a couple of recent examples of that. Sri Lanka, Travis Head opening there. We've seen in the West Indies, Nathan Lyon not playing the day-night test in Kingston, Jamaica. I think we're going to see more horses for courses selections at the Gabba. Day-night test. I'm always, you know my feelings on this, I'm always loath to go into a test match without a frontline spinner. But if a test match is only going to go for 3 days, the way this England side go about their work, is it necessary to have a frontline spinner? So I suspect that there's a chance that Australia will go in without Nathan Lyon. I think that is a genuine chance. As I've said, I like having a frontline spinner. But I think it gives them scope. I think they'll have to seriously consider moving Travis Head to the top of the order. Will they do it? I don't know, but it has to be a discussion point. I mean, that was one of the most scintillating innings that I've ever seen. I was very fortunate to be able to witness it live. Obviously, commentating for ABC Sport was so much fun, and I was really proud of Travis for how he went about it. He as a senior player, he took responsibility. He said, "No, I'm doing it. I'm going to go out there with my great mate Jake Weatherald, who's on debut and is on a pair, and I'm going to take the first ball."
Oh,
So
I
he showed
loved
great.
that. I
He
love
showed
that.
great leadership. Yeah, it was brilliant, Trav. I loved what Travis Head did there. And he played one of the knock for the ages, and look, helped admittedly a little bit by some of the indifferent plans that the England bowling lineup had, but take nothing away from Travis Head. That was a knock for the ages.
He's just become one of those guys that you can depend on in big moments. He almost looks a bit nonchalant in the way that he approaches those dead rubbers or the quieter games, and he'll throw his wicket away. But then, mate, you can just rely on him on the big stage. He puts in a big performance, and it's not a fluke. It's happened time and time again.
Yeah, absolutely, you're spot on. I think he's been brilliant. I said it. I think that's one of the best knocks I've ever seen, and certainly what I've witnessed live, that was something special. And England were rattled. There's no doubt about that. They were completely rattled, a bit like the Australian batting in the first innings. The Australian batting was rattled with the high speed of England. So, while everyone's writing off England and for them to not adjusting and not adapting their game, and I've been critical of them of how they went about that batting, not adjusting, not adapting, but they're a dangerous side. Australia's blueprint for their batting is to get their quicks bowling second, third, fourth spells, because we've seen that just the sheer lack of cricket that particularly Archer and Wood have had, their pace just drops off, and they haven't just had those overs under their belt.
Yeah, you could really see a big change in that second innings. Well, mate, we will get stuck into some listener questions. And
beautiful.
Before we do that, I've got one off the cuff for you, because I was scrolling social media just a few minutes before we jumped on the phone, and I saw it's Peter Siddle's birthday, which means it would be, 14 years since he took, or 15 years even since he took that hat trick on his birthday. So my question for you, to kick us off, have you ever had a hat trick at any level?
I have had a hat trick. One hat trick in my life. I was on a hat trick a number of times in all formats. Test, first class, one day cricket, but never got a hat trick. But the only hat trick I got for Adelaide Cricket Club against West Torrens at Glandore in a one-day game. That was Glandore Oval in the southern suburbs of Adelaide. So that's the only time I managed an A-grade hat trick I got.
What was your hat trick ball?
It was to the number 11, clean bowl.
I mean, that's the hat trick ball you want, to the number 11, isn't it?
That's exactly right.
So the first question is from our mate Lincoln Wildlife, and
yes.
Lincoln is asking, now I have heard a classic one from you recently on commentary. He wants to know about any weird fan interaction that you've had in your career. So I think you've told the story beautifully of the person who rocked up at your house recently. Have you had any in your playing career?
I had one in Sydney. Bloke came up and he called himself Dizzy because all his mates thought he looked like me. And he came up and said hello to me at the SCG, and he pulled out his license, and he'd taken a small photo, the face of mine, my actual thing, and stuck it on his driver's license.
So what, did you have to sign it?
No, but it was his actual driver's license. It was just a little bit bizarre. So I stayed and had a beer with him and had a bit of a chat. He's a nice fella. But yeah, he loved me because he looked a bit like me, and the poor lad, he had a big nose and a goatee.
So which phase of Jason Gillespie did he look like though?
Oh, it was goatee, short hair, dark hair, short hair. But yeah, he seemed like a nice enough fella.
Well, he must be like you. It must come with the territory. All right. So question number 2. This one's from Larol Legger. Full name. Now this, I loved this question, and as a big fan of the snacks at cricket and the morning tea, this is something that took my interest. Do you have a favourite morning tea snack whilst you're on tour?
Do I have a favourite morning tea snack? I actually like the simplicity of just a toasted sandwich, and I have avocado, tomato, spinach with a bit of salt and cracked pepper. Sounds simple. Just a nice toasted sandwich. Yeah, just a nice little snack.
Where in the world is the best lunch breaks?
Oh, geez, that's. I'll have to say Lords. I mean, they actually have a menu board, and there's soup, so entree. Then you can order your main from a number of different options, and they have desserts and things like sticky date puddings and chocolate. Those chocolate things with the chocolate muffins that have all the liquid chocolate inside them and things like that. So the boys had a field day, particularly the bowlers. If it was a batting day, they would just absolutely back the truck up, have salmon or steak or whatever.
You wouldn't want a batting collapse shortly after that, would you?
No, you certainly wouldn't, because I mean, even when I played 97 Ashes tour, I remember going into the Lord's lunchroom, and there was actually beers and bottles of wine on the tables at lunch. So you could technically have a little tipple at lunch.
Unbelievable. Did any of the players partake?
No. But my understanding is that Mike Gatting, the former England captain, when he played county cricket and they were in the field, he would have his lunch and he'd have a little glass or two of Chardonnay with lunch while he was in the field. So this was back in the 80s and early 90s. Yeah.
Imagine that these days.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
Us media people would cut that down pretty fast. All right, the next question's from Matt Hutchinson. So he says, "Hey Dizzy, how amazing was it for you to watch two Indigenous players play in the Australian Test team for the first time? And what did you think of Doggett's debut? I thought he was really good. 5 wickets, strong performance."
Yeah. Look, a very proud moment for Indigenous Australians to have two guys playing in the same side, and it's probably a bit sad in the fact that of 473 players, there's only 3 of Indigenous heritage have played for Australia in the men's game, and obviously we've got Arnie Faith Thomas and Ash Gardner in the women's tests. So we're underrepresented, and hopefully we can get more represented. I think T20 has been a good vehicle to get more kids playing, and we see obviously more opportunities for Indigenous players to play in BBL because there's more teams. So we've seen a number of players of Indigenous heritage representing the Big Bash franchises, which is a step in the right direction.
And you got to present the cap with Scotty Boland as well?
Well, I technically didn't present the cap. So Scotty, initial speech, and he said he was so nervous out there. He had his speech written up. He said, "That's more nervous than anything I've ever done in my life, Diz." And wow. He practiced it. He was rehearsing it. So he spoke. Then I just added in, a couple of points about So basically, what I said to the group was when Brendan would talk about him coming to South Australia, he told me 2 things. One was he wanted to contribute to South Australia, the South Australian culture and environment, and win some trophies. And I want to play for Australia. And I said, well, you've done that with South Australia. You've contributed solidly to the environment and to winning trophies. And now you've been presented with your baggy green. So well done, mate. And then Scotty took over and then finished with some final words and then presented him with his cap, which was a lovely moment.
Unbelievable. What a special moment for all 3 of you and the rest of the country watching on as well. It was so nice to see. Now, Adam Batten, our main man in the USA.
Hello, Adam.
Part of the That's Cricket podcast with Liam Plunkett. So I've been enjoying getting around some of their live coverage of the Ashes. But he's picked up on something that you actually blew the trumpet during the Test match and said that you faced more balls in your double hundred.
Hang on a minute. It was just I was with the ABC crew. We were down at a brewery down in Fremantle on the day after the Test match, or day 3 of the Test, and we were just having conversations. And someone mentioned, Rick Finlay was there, and someone mentioned, randomly, "Oh, Diz, did you face more balls than England faced?" And I said, "I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue." And then Rick Finlay, quick as a flash, said, "Oh, Dizzy, in fact, you did. England faced 405, you faced 425. We'll have a bit of a laugh about it." And then Corbin Middlemass has gone and put it on social media.
Well, it's gone viral.
Said, yeah, so he's like, "Oh, Dizzy said this," and no, it was all a bit of fun. So we were just having a bit of a laugh, and it was a good catch up with the ABC crew. So make sure all our supporters and listeners to listen to the ABC for the summer of cricket. It's a lot of fun.
It is. And if you can't get onto ABC, SEN Cricket's always great to listen to as well. Battle of the stations on this podcast, but no, we support each other, don't we, Diz?
That's correct.
Anyway, Adam's question, getting back to that, he wants to know what has happened to Test cricket and actually batting properly. Now, you spoke a lot about the way that you bat in Perth. You don't play on an angle. You either play straight or you cut. Otherwise, you're leaving the ball alone outside the off stump. Right. England didn't, obviously, none of their players listened to our podcast last week.
No. And look, I think modern batting, in answer to Adam's question, and I think there's T20, there's this general feeling of play with more intent. I'm all for players. This is the coach's hat on. Play with freedom, play with intent, absolutely. But you've got to take personal responsibility, and you've got to execute your skills. And there's got to be, you've got to take responsibility. You've got to be accountable for your performance. And let me preface this by saying, I actually, philosophically, I love what Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes are doing with England. They're removing the fear of failure with players, but that doesn't mean there's no accountability or consequences, right? You still need to have that. You need to take responsibility for your performance. And I suppose my argument, and I'm not against this or Bazball, whatever you want to call it, the attitude of it is it's all very positive. You want to remove that fear of failure and give players freedom to go out and express themselves. But you've got to learn and adjust and adapt. That's what Test cricket is all about. Adjust to the conditions, the situation, the opposition. And a really clear example of that is driving on the up to the offside on a fast, bouncy surface is inviting trouble. So wait for your cuts. Play with the horizontal bat. That's fine. And that's what Travis Head did beautifully. Play dead straight down the ground, full face of the bat. But anything in between is fraught with danger. So you just leave them alone and stay patient. You are allowed to leave a ball every now and again. And if a team comes in with a bouncer plan, you are allowed to just duck a few because they're not going to stick to that plan for too long. If you're just going to duck and get out of the way, the opposition are going to pivot and try something else.
So they are, and they tried everything, the Palms, didn't they? But Travis Head, geez, do you know the shot that I love, which was very, just a very rogue shot out of nowhere, but Jofra Archer bowled a bouncer at him, and he just flat batted him straight back down the ground. I don't know if you were in your commentary at the time, but it was just a swat straight back down the ground. But it was a complete horizontal bat. There was no other angle.
It was indeed, and look, Travis is goes from the Darren Lehman playbook of coaching. I mean, Darren often says, "Hit the ball where there's no fielders," and that's all Trav did. That's just keeping it as simple as you can. But the difference is that he played to his strengths. That was the key, and he knew they were going to be too stubborn to change their game plan, and they just kept bowling short, and it worked for him. He was able to capitalise.
Love it. This one's come through from Ross Franklin. It's a little bit of a change of tack here. And Ross is loving the podcast. So g'day, Ross. Thanks for getting involved and listening. So he wants to know who the best state cricketer that you played with or against that was never picked to play for Australia in Test or ODI cricket that you thought should have been selected.
Oh, geez, that's a tricky one. You're testing me now. I played with or against. I mean, the guys that played like very few games. So Martin Love comes to mind, average north of 50, batting 3 at the Gabba for half his career, or batting at 3 for his career. and he managed only 4 tests. He's probably the name that springs to mind. But I'm trying to think anyone that didn't play.
Dave Hussey never got a test match. He had a pretty
no.
strong.
No, I'll tell you who I thought could have played Test cricket and done well. He played maybe a handful of one-day games. It was Michael Divenuto.
Oh yeah,
he was a very fine player of fast bowling in particular, and I felt if anyone he would have been a good Test cricketer.
Current batting coach for Australia as well, so he's obviously got a good level of respect within the Australian camp. Now I'm moving over to a question now from MD Asikul Islam. And he's asking, what's your Australian playing 11 for a day-night test? Now, this is obviously something we've talked about a little bit, but we probably haven't gone in depth into what your 11 would actually look like. Are you dropping Khawaja with head to open and bringing back Webster, or are you doing something else?
This is what I would do. I would go either head or Inglis at the top to partner Jake Weatherall. And then at 3, Marnus. Number 4, Steve Smith. Number 5, either Head or Inglis. Number 6, Cameron Green. Number 7, Alex Carey. And 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm probably going, if we didn't think that the day-night test was going to go more than 3 days, I'd be tempted to play Bo Webster at 8 and then have Stark, Boland and Doggett and leave out Nathan Lyon. If the only caveat, I'd probably have a slash Bo Webster, Nathan Lyon, just depending on what we thought, whether conditions dictated you have a frontline spinner or you want to lengthen the batting. That would be the way I'd go. And I don't think it's going to be too far off that.
Any thought of Michael Neser on his home deck with the pink ball?
That was the other one. Michael Neser could be that one with it could be either Bo, Michael Neser, or Lyon in that number, or Bo or Neser in that number 8 spot.
Tough call ahead. It's when you win a game of cricket, you've clearly got some sort of formula, don't you? But it's still, it's very different conditions playing against a pink ball in Brisbane. Probably going to be a bit of wild weather around as well. So we hope that we get through the full test. This one's from, I love this, Shrimpers are Magic. Now, if I go into Shrimpers are Magic's profile, it says Andy Walden. So I'm going to assume that's his name, but it's a very good tag on the X profile there. And this one, he's asking if there's any chance of Mitchell Stark opening the bowling for Essex next county season. I don't know if Shrimpers has got some inside information or if
I don't know. I'd be surprised if Mitchell Stark signed a contract to play county cricket. I think he's at his age, he's probably just focusing on being ready to play for Australia and maybe the IPL. I think that'd be all he'd play.
His form has just got better and better with age, hasn't it? I think he's going to have, by the time this Ashes series is through, I think he's going to have his best calendar year. I think I've read he's on.
He's learned how to bowl the wobble seam nicely. So that ball going across the right handers, he's bowling it well because he's staying upright at the crease and not going across the right hander. But he would ever so slightly fall away and sort of push the ball across the right handers. But now he's staying a lot more upright. His wrist and fingers are behind the ball, and he's releasing the ball and the little wobble seam down the wicket. Or down the pitch, and he's in fine form. There's no doubt about it, and it makes his in-swinger even that more devastating.
It does. So I'm excited to see what he can do with the pink ball because he's a pink ball specialist. I heard on the radio today that he's got something like 87 wickets in 27 innings as a pink ball bowler, and the second best is Pat Cummins on about 45. His record is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's miles ahead of anyone. He is the pink ball specialist. There's no doubt about that.
There we go. So that's all the listener questions. So thanks for sending your questions through, everyone, on the Ask Dizzy segment for this podcast. We love catching up every week, and Dizzy loves answering all the questions. They're here, there, and everywhere. It's a bit of this, a bit of that. but we love chatting about it. And I just wanted to throw something at you, Diz, before we finish up the episode and find out what you're doing over the next few days. But a great friend of mine and someone who you'd know well, Jemma Barsby, is currently putting out a campaign to hit MS for 6. Now, Jemma, listeners may or may not know this, but she actually plays with a condition called multiple sclerosis, which affects her sometimes in game, but sometimes at home, and the way that she prepares and trains. And it's something that can be a really debilitating illness. And she's partnering up for this campaign to hit MS for 6. And what she's looking for is 60,000 people to donate $100, and what that will do to get this drug approved to help people living with MS. So I want to give a massive shout out to Jemma for this amazing campaign. She's a great friend of mine. I actually played golf with Jemma out on the Seacliff Golf Course only a couple of weeks ago. She hit them better than both you and I did.
No doubt. No doubt. She's a talented sportswoman, is Jemma. And it's a great initiative. So hopefully, we can spread the word, and she can raise as much money as possible, because it's a great initiative.
It certainly is. So you'll see heaps of Jemma on the WBBL broadcasts over the next couple of weeks as she shares the love, and plenty of love. The symbol for it is literally the love heart. So I'll give you one of those, Diz, because I love podcasting with you, and I love supporting Gems.
But fantastic.
Diz, you've got somewhere to be. Tell us, you're doing a bit of broadcasting over the next few days. You're even covering the the Prime Minister's 11 game over in Canberra against the England Lions. Not to be
yes. So I'm here in Perth. I've got tomorrow. I've got a luncheon that I locked in. So hence why I'm still in Perth at the moment. So I had that locked in for a while. So I'm really looking forward to that. Then I'm home straight after that. I've got Thursday will be quiet, and then I go to Melbourne Friday morning. Keilor Cricket Club have a luncheon, and Damien Fleming is the MC, and so I'll spend time with my fast bowling cartel co-host, and we'll be chatting all things cricket with him and Michael Vaughan, which would be fantastic to get his thoughts on the Ashes so far and the England side. And then, as you said, I'll be flying to Canberra to be involved in that Prime Minister's 11 for ABC Sport. So looking forward to that.
Thoughts on the fact that you won't be seeing any of the England playing 11 from the Perth Test match playing in that game?
No, and look, that's a lot of conjecture. Look, my personal opinion, I think some players would benefit from doing that. I think match fitness would be very good, and just getting used to the pink ball under the lights, all that. But look, McCullum and Stokes have been very consistent, and you must give them credit. They said, no, we back our game plan, we back our blueprint, and we're trusting our processes. So look, ultimately they're going to live and die by their decisions and the results that will or will not happen. So I don't have a problem with that. That's their choice. It's their tour. The proof will be in the pudding at the end of the series, whether or not they've done the right thing. I suspect if they go 2-0 down in Brisbane, there'll be a lot of scrutiny, a lot of criticism. But I respect the fact that they're sticking to what they believe is the right way forward. Do I agree with it? Not quite. I still think you've got to be able to adjust and adapt and pivot when an opportunity presents itself like this. Test match finished inside 2 days. You've got an ideal opportunity to utilise that match, to squeeze everything out of it you can. And I think personally they might be just missing a little trick there. But having said that, I do appreciate and respect that they're trusting their planning and strategy and going about it their way.
I think you said it perfectly there when you said the proof will be in the pudding. We will see what happens with the result and watch the fallout as a result of that. But hey, that's all we've got time for. Make sure if you're not already, you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Spotify. It's at Still Not Out Pod. We're on Instagram as well. You can catch all the little snippets if you miss an episode. So you can see what you've missed out and then catch up on the rest later. So we really appreciate everyone who listens and gets involved in the show, asks questions in this Ask Dizzy segment, and we can't wait to catch up again at some point next week in your busy schedule, Diz.
Look forward to seeing you, Trav. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm actually really excited about this PM's 11 game. Some young talent around the country, and led by Pete Hanscom, the experienced Victorian, and Peter Siddle. I mean, how wonderful is that? I mean, Campbell Thompson, a rookie contracted player of South Australia, will get to spend a couple of days in a dressing room in and around a game with Peter Siddle. I mean, how good's that? And that can only aid his development.
That's amazing. I'd love to see it. And where can people? Do you know where people can listen in to the or watch the broadcast? Is it a KO job? This one?
I'm actually not sure, but certainly on ABC 891 on the AM dial, you can listen to that. I don't know if SEN are covering it, but
I haven't heard yet. I assume we'll be talking about it a lot.
But certainly the national broadcaster, ABC Sport 891 on the AM dial.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks, Diz, and safe travels for you. Enjoy yourself at the big function tomorrow, and we'll catch up next week.
Look forward to seeing you then, mate.
See you later, everyone.